come in with some hype. You can't just come in any kind of way. You
On.
gotta come in hyped up.
We got a whole intro. Good
A whole
morning.
intro. And if you pay attention to the intro, it has like the numbers are all like different things.
You know, I was coming like, oh, that's cool. That's a six with the six, like the new one. Come on, I love it. What's up, y'all?
What's up? Good morning.
Good morning. So,
Are you good? Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. I see Chanel is on. Hey, Chanel.
What's up?
What is going on? Would you like me to introduce you?
Yes, why don't you do the magic? I'm
Yes.
just here to do what you tell me to do.
Well, good morning, friends. We are here today because Donna St. Louis is about to bring you all the most epic 2023. And it's not just any year, this is a 10x year. So if you are watching this and you're like, you know what, I had a pretty good 2022, I have a feeling about what direction I want to go in, but how am I going to take my business from this idea, this concept, this little machine that could to this corporation that you can generational wealth with. So, Donna St. Louis, I'm going to go ahead and hand it to you. Thank you for being the coach of the hour, willing to get on the hot seat today and really give us the real about building a business and generating revenue in the process.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And what I really want to do is give people an opportunity to ask questions, right? Right now, over the past several weeks, if you're not in the coaching industry, you're not aware of this, but if you are in the coaching industry, I would probably say over the past several weeks, maybe in a couple of months, there's been some pretty bad press about coaches that are out there in those streets. And quite honestly, between you and I, those are people who literally went and put, coach the moniker up, and they're not coaches. And it's that simple. And I have no problem throwing rocks at people who are doing crap to our industry. If you are a coach, you know what coaching looks like, right? And it's not what people are doing. It's not standing there telling somebody they got a low vibrational plate of food, or showing up with 800 people on a Zoom call, that you forgot about completely. Not that I haven't been late to a Zoom call, but I'm really prepared for my stuff at very least. So, and then really bringing, what you really want to do is you want to be bringing value to people as they need it, right? Like what they're actually looking for in their business. Because the whole goal for my business, at least when I'm working with people, we're specifically working with people who are experts in their industry. So they've busted their ass to get a significant amount of experience. They know specifically what they're doing. And what they want to do is they want to turn that expertise into a high profit coaching, speaking, or service-based business. A lot of times my clients have already been out there in the streets. They've already gotten clients. And now what they're trying to do is say, well, how do I take this to a next level? How do I scale and grow? Which is also things people don't know. There's a difference between scaling and growing. So I felt like we should start off 2023, number one, ensuring that people aren't getting scammed by bad coaches anymore.
Period. Period. And so I want to start with the first stump, which is actually
Okay.
a reference to coaching, right? Because we have individuals building businesses. A lot of these folks are first generation, right? Many
Mhm.
of us are first generation business owners. And so we did see a lot of drama in the coaching industry. Some folks have never hired a coach before. Some folks have hired a coach. It did not go as expected. Why do we need a coach? Why can't I just go to YouTube, download some videos? Like, why do I actually need a coach to build a $1 million business or more?
Well, first of all, most people have never even had $1 million ever. Right. And so if I give you $1 million right now and I go, okay, Patrice, this is all you have to last the rest of your life. And now you're responsible for not only not losing it, but investing it properly, growing your business, knowing what to do with it next, ensuring that that $1 million that you invest brings back money. What would you do with it? To be
I
honest, a lot of people wouldn't know. They'd be like, girl, I don't know, buy more ads. Okay, so what happens when you buy those ads and they don't work? And how do you know which ads are going to actually reach your ideal client? And what happens when those ads, because we know how ads work, they work with that inner circle first and then they go outward. So what
right.
happens when your ads on social, especially, work with that inner circle, but now you're getting into that secondary and tertiary circle and they stop working? What do you tweak? What is the message that your ideal client versus your dream client really wants? Like, there are all these questions that as a business owner you really need to be able to answer, and doing just more of the same is not going to get you where you need to get to.
That's right.
It's just not. You have to do something different, and there is a big difference going from getting to 100,000 and getting from 100,000 to 250,000 is different. From 250 to 500 is different. 500 to a million is different. Hell, getting up to 250 million. People think running $100 million business is the same as running a $250 million business. It is not, right? You need someone who's been there, done that, got the ugly t-shirt and the skint up knees to tell you how to avoid those potholes.
That makes absolute sense. And so I did want to start there because, again, there's fear and trepidation around what to invest, especially if you've never invested before or you're like, not at this level. How do I know? So that's my number two. How do I know when I'm ready to invest? I do want a guide. I want someone to show me how to build my business. What if the business that I want to build, you've never built before? How do
Uh,
I know to trust you with my business and you don't do exactly what I do?
Right. So there's two types of coaches. There's a coach that we call it a clone, right? You're literally trying to clone their business. So I have clients that come to me that go, I want to build exactly the type of business that you've built, right? Then you have other coaches that are guides. Either one of those coaches can work, but they have to have experience in your industry. So if you're going to be, for example, my favorite is to use a doctor. So
Mhm.
if I get a doctor who is an obstetrician and it's a male, he's never had a baby before, right? Like, he's never done the actual pushing out of said infant, right? So he doesn't know what it's like to push out a watermelon through that, right? And so, but he does have experience, knowledge. He knows what to do. He knows all the things that are going on. He might not know what it feels like, but he has everything else down. He's gone through residency, right? He's someone who can be trusted. Sometimes and I'm using he on purpose. Sometimes
Mhm.
the best in the business that's done it. He would be a great guy. Conversely, I could have somebody who's had babies before, and every one of their babies have been rock solid, no problem. But now they're going to go over here and they're going to coach me, and if something goes wrong, they don't know what to do.
Right.
So what you're looking for is someone who, in many ways, has a combination of both. They're a great guide, but they've also done it. So that's generally what you're looking for. You're looking for someone specifically who has a methodology.
Mhm.
Now, what I mean by that is they have a framework, a step-by-step framework. And what they're really helping you do is apply your expertise to that framework. That's the important thing you have to know. It is not your coach's job to be an expert in your industry. It is
Mhm.
your coach's job to be an expert at building a business.
Understood. And that's something that we don't hear often. We don't hear that, the actual building of this infrastructure. I'm going to call it that on purpose. We just think about revenue, we think about sales, we think about marketing, and those are surface level things. But the infrastructure, most coaches don't know how to do that because they haven't built beyond a certain point. They've just gotten
Right.
very, very much, you know,
They've gotten very good
in
in a niche. So you can get, like, for example, I have coached cybersecurity companies on how to increase sales. I am not a cybersecurity expert, but I am a sales expert. And
right.
because I have a sales methodology, I can coach that. However, if there are structural things that are wrong within the organization, I can't fix those things, which could impede my ability to help them sell more. So you really have to know specifically what you're looking at. I get people all the time that go, "Oh, I want to have way more marketing. My marketing isn't working." And they go and hire marketing people left and right. And I've had some of the best marketing people come to me and go, "Oh my God, if I get one more person that wants me to do marketing for them, but they don't know who their dream client is, they don't know who their ideal client is, they have no idea what their expertise is, their products and services are all over the place. They think they can sell to everybody, they think they can sell everything. And now what they expect me to do is work magic.
Right.
That's not how marketing works." And I'm like, yep, those are people who went and spent a whole bunch of money on a marketing coach and did not spend a dime on a business coach because they didn't think they needed it. And now they're stuck. It happens all the time.
Happens all the time. So to kind of piggyback off that, I want to go into people who did. There are some people who had record breaking revenue years in 2022. And so we're going into a brand new year. The goal is to 10x. But for someone who's like, well, do I really need a coach if I exceeded my revenue goals? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's according to whether or not you want to grow or scale. Okay, so somebody who wants to grow, which means I'm going to do the exact same thing I did last year, I'm just going to do more of it. More of it meaning I'm going to charge more money for
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing, or I'm going to take on more clients for what I'm doing. So one of those two things, or I'm just going to add, let's say, more people to sell for me. For example, I'm going to get more sales. So more sales, higher rates, right? Bring in more clients. That's what they're looking to do. That's straight growth. That's just financial growth, dollars, period, the end.
That's right.
But then there's scaling. Scaling is when you're going to add products, especially as a coach, that don't include you, right? So you're going to bring in more clients, but you're not necessarily going to have to do more work. You might be doing different work, but not more work. So for example, let's say I do one-to-one coaching,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be able to serve more people. So now I'm going to do group coaching as well. Okay, and then I'm going to go and add an educational thing so people can actually do the educational portion of it. Okay, so now I have 3 different types of offers, and those 3 different types of offers allow me to scale. Now, if I really want to scale, I'm going to go and turn my methodology into a certification program. So I have certified coaches under me within different areas of expertise. So now I'm really getting to a scale portion where I can really scale my business. Scaling is quite different from growth. And this is what a lot of people don't know. When you first scale, you usually take a small financial hit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not ready for that. They're like, what? If you really want to scale your business, sometimes you have to take a step back.
That's right. That's right. That's really good information. I want to take that thought of having that step back and having someone to guide you through it. Because if you do it on your own, you take a step back. But you guess what you do? You ditch the whole scaling plan, and
Right.
now you go right back to what you were doing. So this is needed to say this is a planned step. You are on the right track, and let me help guide you through so where you get to the other side and you actually get the result you were
And when
hoping.
most people are starting, where they really mess up is they start their business with a scale mentality rather than a growth mentality. And what I mean by that is they offer way too many products and services at the beginning. And that is a scale, and then they don't have enough. First of all, they're selling too many things all over the place. They're selling to way too many ideal clients. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is because they're doing all of that, they're trying to scale, but they have not yet even put together a foundation, so everything ends up crumbling.
Mm, mm. That is interesting. So with that, I want to navigate a little bit towards actual sales, right? Because that's
Mhm.
something you brought up earlier, and sales can fluctuate depending on the plan. So what is one area that you've seen when it comes to sales? Because we're in a new year, we have an opportunity to take this to a mill. Someone
Mhm.
who did a smooth 6 figures last year, what should their
Mhm.
next step be if they want to get their sales from smooth 6 figures to 1 million?
Right. So, I'm sorry, hold on. Can you close that door, please? Can you close the door? Thanks. So when someone wants to go from a six, I'm sorry. The question is, you want to know if somebody wants to go from 6 figures to 1 million?
Because again, we know growth and scale are not the same thing. So if we want to, let's say we want to grow, right? I think
Right.
growing would be smart to do at this point. So we want to grow our business to 6 figures. What should we do now?
So if you want to grow your business to 6 figures, first of all, you have to really understand what that breaks down to. So now you have to know your numbers. Let's start there. You have to know your numbers. Number one thing that I find is that when I'm working with people and we start talking about their numbers, they just don't know their numbers. So they're like, I want to hit $10,000 a month. That'll give you $120,000 a year, right? Okay, so let's break that down. Let's just use a simple 4-week month. That means you're doing $25,000 a month. Okay, that means you're $5,000 a day for 5 days out of the week.
Mm,
Now you need to really break down your products and say, what is it that I'm selling that I can sell for $5,000 a day? If you don't have an answer to that, you're not going to hit that number.
okay.
right? So the first thing you have to do is be realistic. So if I'm looking at $25,000 a week, let's use that. And let's say that I can charge a client $2,000 a month for coaching. I'm using simple numbers here, right? So that means that that week I would need to have 10 coaching clients, maybe. I need to, or at least I need to get 5 coaching clients to start. So that's going to give me $10,000. Now I'm going to have that $10,000 going to the next month. I'm going to have some other kind of program that I'm offering as well. See, people think it's really easy to get to a $10,000 a month. You got to know specifically what you're selling, right? You're trying to get to, I'm sorry, we said $10,000, not $100,000. So 10,000.
I know steps to it. So we'll kind of go. We're kind of
Yeah,
dancing
yeah.
between the two, but
I'm at 1.2 million. We're only at 120,000. So I need to get at least, I know for 2,500 I got to get at least 25. I got to get at least one coaching client, right? A week. One coaching client a week is going to give me $4,000. If I'm getting that coaching client over 3 months, that means over 3 months I've made $12,000 for one, for, you know what I mean? So you really got to kind of work it through. Like, how am I doing this? You got to break down, what do my sales look like to my numbers? If I'm doing $10,000 a month, what does that $10,000 look like? What does $2,500 a week look like? What does $500 a day look like? You have to break that down and then know, what is it that I have to sell per week, per month, per year in order to reach that? If you don't know those numbers, you're not going to hit those numbers.
that makes sense. So you kind of walked us between both. So what I'm hearing is that whether I am looking to get to my first 6-figure year, or I'm at a 6-figure year and I want to get to my first 7-figure year, either way you slice it, you got to break the numbers down. And
right.
so,
But you know what? So check this out. So let's say I wanted to get to $10,000 a month. So if I want to get to $10,000 a month and I'm selling my coaching at $2,000 a month, right? Then I know that I need to have 10 steady clients month after month after month after month, right? I'm sorry, 5 steady clients. I said 2,000, 5 steady clients month after month after month after month. But now all of a sudden I want to get to 1 million. Now we're talking about having 50 steady clients month after month after month after month. For a single coach, that is a lot. That is why scaling and growth are quite different. You can't just say, I'm going to be $1 million coach at the same rate. It's not going to work. You cannot possibly truly serve those people that way. So you really have to think about different products and offers and services. Does that make sense?
that makes sense. And I'm going to recap it just in case. So
Right.
once you guys are like, hey, first 10K month, you can definitely grow yourself there. But once you're like, okay, I want to go from 10K months to a 7-figure year, you can't apply the same plan. You're going to have to take a step back and say, how can I get here knowing my limits on time? Like, you're only one person. So now, I would not recommend going out and trying to, do this on your own. You're going to have to bring people in. You're going to have to vet those people, train those people. So having access to a coach is going to help you through that process is imperative. Right. Another thing with that is going to be high ticket, right? And so we did mention some price increases throughout either growth or scale to ensure that you can reach that 7-figure year. What does the high ticket transition look like? A lot of people struggle with the jump from offering a service at, even less than 5K is considered lower ticket, right? So when you're moving your way up, what should we keep in mind?
And let me just answer a question over here. I think we have someone in the chat that said, how much of this is just them trying to pay bills? I think that's what Jeff Stein said, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, and I'm just gonna it might even sound a little elitist. I don't do the thing where I'm working with people who are, quote, doing side hustles or just trying to pay bills, right? That's not who I'm working with. People who are just trying to pay bills sometimes are just looking for, multi-level marketing, make extra money kind of thing. And I personally kind of hate side hustles. I hate side hustles because they take your eye off the ball. They keep you from focusing on what you need to focus on. The people I'm working on are not trying to just pay bills. What they're doing is they're trying to make enough money so that they can go, okay, I have enough money to cover my income from my job. And I know it's going to sound crazy. Yes, you want to build a business. You don't just quit on Monday and start your business on Tuesday. You should have put a whole plan in place before you made the leap. You should have started marketing and pulling in people who would be your ideal client setting up your stuff. Yes, while you have a job. I know it sounds crazy, but if you want to build a business, sometimes you have to work double duty. That's
Yeah.
just how it works, especially if you're taking care of yourself. And so, yeah, everybody, I love the fantasy that people think, oh, well, I'm just going to quit my job one day. Not without doing double duty somewhere else. Like, let's be real. When I started my business intelligence company, I literally coded because I was a programmer. So I worked from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right. And then I would go home, do stuff with the kids. And then at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, I would start working on my business that I wanted to start, building the methodology that I have right now. And I'd be doing that from 9 o'clock at night once the kids went to bed until like midnight. And then I would do it all over again. And people were like, oh, that's crazy. Okay, I wanted to build a $250 million company. So yeah, I worked a few extra hours.
Yeah.
And I had 2 kids. Like, people are like, oh, well, it's different. No, I had 2 small kids. They were elementary school, right? And preschool. So I had small children when I was doing this. So to say that, you have to do double duty. If you're just looking for something where you just want to pay bills, I'm probably not the coach for you.
That's a really good point. And we talked about that, you and I, earlier, and that's something that people should keep in mind. Is this the year that you want to go all in? And before you hire a coach, I think we have hopefully already stated this in so many words. This is not a get rich quick. This is not
No,
a,
does.
in your spare time when you feel like it. The type of work that you do is very much for the people who have legacy in mind, not just with their income, but also with their business, the business structure and the business viability. Michael has a question here.
What's the secret to transition from? Can you see that? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I can. His question is, what's the secret to transition from a $5,000 a month solopreneur coaching business to a 7-digit business? That can't possibly happen overnight. How do you know when it's time to scale?
Okay, so this is how you know when it's time to scale. The first thing that you have to do is you have to have in what is your focus area. Like, this is what you have to do. If you're sitting here right now and going, I really want to do this, but I need the formula. Here's the formula. Number one, you have to know what you're focused on. Pick a singular area of expertise. Don't be out there trying to do everything for everybody. Pick something. Number two, identify your dream client versus your ideal client. Your dream client is someone who you will work with personally. Your ideal client will work with your products and services, not necessarily with you. Then from there, you want to identify what is it that your dream client or ideal client has achieved already, and what do they want to achieve next. Stop talking about people like they are broke, busted, and effed up. Seriously, like, I'm so tired of people like, oh, my client can't figure out how to get out of bed in the morning. That's not your client. They're not motivated. Stop. Your ideal client really does want to they really want to get to the next level, and they've already achieved something. So what have they achieved? So now that you know that, what do they want to achieve? How can you help them achieve that? Start talking about people as winners rather than losers. Like, all my clients are badasses, all of them across the board. And so when I talk about them, I talk about how they were already winners. And then they came to me and I was like, listen, I'm like Tom Brady's coach before he got his first, second, and 25th Super Bowl, right? I'm the person that helps them get to that next level. And they're the person who executes on getting there. So once you have those 3 things and you've really laid down a tight offer and you've tested in the marketplace, because do believe you've got to test it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do that and you're doing your regular sales, now you're going to go into marketing, you're going to go into engagement, you're going to go into sales, because that's where you make your money. Marketing, engagement, and sales. Don't start marketing on different things. Market on the thing you're going to sell and do that. Don't do all the other things. Stop putting all these posts about all this stuff that has nothing to do with your business, because I know people who post multiple times a day, every day, and they're highly engaging. I have no idea what they sell, so I will never send them a client to them ever, because I don't know what they do. And the fact that I have to hear what they do word of mouth from somebody else 100% makes me not want to work with them, because I'm like, you don't even know how to market your business. So once you have those things out and you have your sales done, and now you're delivering, and you're delivering regularly, and you have goals and you're hitting your goals consistently, and you should be looking at your goals. I look at my goals on a week by week basis. Some people do it on month by month, but you should be looking at your goals regularly. Once you know that you are consistently hitting those goals without even thinking about it, now it's time for you to go to the next level. That's when you can start offering a higher end product or service. So that's what you do. Most people screw this up and they're like, I'm going to offer these 5 products right out the door, and I'm going to serve these 20 clients right out the door. Don't do that. Pick one thing, get it where it's running like nobody's business, then add the next thing, then add the next thing. That's actually how you grow and scale your business. You don't do it by doing it all at once. You're not trying to be the Walmart of businesses. Don't do that.
That's such good advice. Thank you for that question, Michael. Thank you, Donna, for that answer. Y'all literally covered the realm of how to think through, right? I think a lot of times we hear about the strategy and people just want the Bible. They want the methodology, right? But there's a thought process that goes into the decisions you make while you make them. You're watching people alongside you. You want to just do what they're doing, right? Someone else who is on chapter 12 of their journey may have 4 or 5 different offers. It's not time to do that yet. So how to strategize through that.
Let me jump in that, because what you just said is so important. It's so important. People mess this up all the time. They literally go, well, what I'm going to do is they'll look at me and they go, well, I'm going to copy what Donna does. Donna does, the $1 Million Business Challenge. Donna does masterminds. Donna does coaching. Donna does mansion retreats, right? They'll come up with all the list of things that I do. Donna has signature programs. Yes. However, I did not make those things yesterday. Right. I actually had to build them up over time. So yes, I do have a private membership group with a signature program that people can get in. I also have a mastermind that people can get in. I also have a $1 Million Business Challenge, but I'm also not by myself. I literally have a team of people, right? And so I'm not doing this alone. So you have to figure that, you got to pick that one thing that you can do, crush that thing, then come back around and add the thing. Do not model people. Don't model everything that I'm doing where I am today, because it took me years to get here. I will shorten your time frame in which to get to where I am. However, don't start here. So when I talk to people and I'll tell them, just do this, they'll say, well, you're doing this, and that. And I'm like, don't do that. You're not there yet. Let's get you there. We're going to get you there faster than it took me. But let's get you there so that way you could do the second thing, and then you could do the third thing, and then you could do the fourth thing.
That's
right.
Powerful. That's powerful. And Natalie in the comments, she's confirming, hey, I did not do all the things. I'm doing one thing at a time. So that's extremely powerful to be coachable in that way. We'll do, if anyone else has questions, I'm going to do last call for questions, and I'll take one more off my list here. And so for me, I've seen folks struggle in reference to positioning, brand positioning, right? Messaging is key. And so when it comes to what they sell versus what people are actually buying from them, how can someone, because this is really tricky, you can make a lot of money still being a mismatch, but then you hit this wall where people, like you said, don't quite understand what you do, or you're not saying it to them in a way in which they're really trying to spend their money. And so can you help someone that's like, you know what? I feel like it's a stop start. Sometimes I make a ton of money. Sometimes it's really dry. What's going on with their messaging?
Yeah. So what happens a lot of times is people come to me because they've hit what we call the stutter step, right?
Ooh,
like I'm going and I'm stopping, right? So they have this stutter step activity, and they'll get some successes, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, right? And they can't figure out how to get past it. Here's the number one question I ask people, and it's amazing how it completely shifts what they do in their business. I'll ask them, are you selling health, wealth, or relationships? And so I'll use something like Gillette razors, right? A lot of times they'll say, so what does Gillette sell? And of course they're like, razors. Okay, they're healthy skin, make sure. And then I'll talk about the triple action razor that makes sure you don't get hair bumps. They're like, oh, clearly health. And I'm like, right, go watch the commercial. And then they'll look at it, and I'm like, how many times do you see a man getting his beard shaved, and then you see a woman rubbing his skin, right? Or you see a woman shave her legs, and then how many times do you see her then get out of the car showing off her legs in a dress, right? They never, by the way, have her shave her legs and then put on a pair of slacks. She's always shaving her legs and then wearing a dress and getting out of a car. Why? Because they're not selling health. They're selling relationships. They're not showing her shaving her legs and going to the gym or going for a jog. They're showing her shaving her legs and then going on a date. They're
Mm-hmm.
showing him shaving his beard and then going on a date. So what is Gillette really selling? Relationships. Because think about how the messaging would be different if they were selling health.
Yes.
They, again, you'd shave and go to the gym. You'd shave and go for a jog. You'd shave and go get in the pool. You shave, right? They don't show you that Michael Phelps, when he was swimming, would shave all of his hair before he went swimming, because guess what? They weren't selling health. They were selling relationships.
So good. So good.
Right? And so
Yeah.
you have to know which one you're selling. A lot of people think they're selling health, and then I'll say, okay, or they'll think they're selling wealth, and then I'm like, yeah, but what are your clients buying? And then they're like, relationships. And I'm like, mismatch. Or
Yeah.
they'll say, well, I'm selling health, and then I'm like, what are your clients buying? Relationships. If there's a mismatch, it just won't work. You have to know that what you're selling and what your clients buying are congruent, they're the same, and then from there your marketing will work.
And so just like to summarize, because when I learned this, it let me know that messaging is a two-part process. And so a lot of times we say, well, because I'm all right, I got good copy. So my copy is it's just step one. Like now you're clear about what you offer, but have you tested that, like you mentioned before, in the marketplace? And did the marketplace come back and say, I am indeed buying what it is that you are selling? So thank you
Right.
for
I
breaking
I
that
want
down.
to use I'm going to use Deanna, because Deanna is one of our clients. She's absolutely amazing, and Deanna specifically is really really good at helping people who are high power entrepreneurs who are crushing it get in front of more of their buyers, right? And she does this through putting them in very specific rooms using her connections. Well, the thing is, most of her people that she works with are either introverts or ambiverts like me, right? Ambivert, by the way, because people always say, what is that? An ambivert is somebody who's both introverted and extroverted in different situations. And so Deanna, when Deanna and I were talking, she goes, well, you would be my ideal client. And I'm like, okay, so what are you selling me? And she goes, well, I'm gonna help you make connections. And I'm like, I'm out. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not buying relationships.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, but but if I'm an introvert or an ambivert, I'm not interested in buying relationships. Yes, I'm interested in having them. I have amazing relationships with my clients, right? I do. I said, however, I'm not buying relationships, I'm buying wealth. I said, you're selling relationships by virtue of saying I connect.
Mm-hmm.
And so here it is. She is super amazing at what she does. She makes really good money doing what she does, but she's having that stutter step moment. And so then we changed it from connect to leverage and work with. And all of a sudden I said, now that perks up my ears. You help me leverage? Yes, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But helping me connect and then creating a reciprocal relationship and all that other stuff, that's the work you do, but that's not what I'm interested in. And so once she changed that to, oh, I have to make these the same. You're interested in wealth and I'm selling wealth. So now let me go change my messaging. And her messaging just hits that much harder.
Yeah.
Simply because, and it wasn't like she had to change her business.
Right.
Her
Right.
business was the same. She just had to change how her business, what she does, connected with her buyer. Right. And that might sound so simple, but it was so impactful in
It's
regards
a
to how
million dollar shift.
it was. It was. You were in the room when she shifted it. It was
Mhm.
absolutely amazing. Like we were like, yes, that. Right. That's what we want to hear. And then all of a sudden, she had people in the room that were more leaned in and listening and interested in what she had to offer. Right. And so that's what you want to happen. Because think about how many times she probably said to someone, "I connect you with," and it was her dream client, and they shut down. So here it is. She has a dream client that will pay her fee, but because she used the word connect, it instantly shut them down. Whereas if she would have changed connect to leverage, now they perk up. It's the difference between having a buyer and someone walking away.
Yeah, yeah,
One
it's a
word.
big deal. Yeah, one word.
One
And
word.
again, how many other folks watching or who have just been in this, stop, start, you call it stutter step phase
Yep.
where there's something so small that a coach
Mhm.
coming in can be like, that's what it is right there. And if you switch that, like then the floodgates open up. And
Yep.
so I do want to go into mastermind, right? Because that is where the magic happened. And so, quick question around that: why a mastermind? What's so powerful about getting in person when it comes to having this level of attention on your business?
You know, if you're so there is several different types of masterminds, and I'll be honest, I would say our masterminds run more like a challenge.
Mm,
Um, and here's why. Most of the time when I talk to people about masterminds, and I've been in several of them that I've been very just not happy with, usually it's a group of people, they get together, they're all probably pretty much at the same level. And then what they do is they share ideas, and then you're supposed to take that idea, walk away, come back in 90 days and tell them how you did. Right? The whole
mhm,
idea of a
mhm.
mastermind was that we're going to take all of our ideas, we're going to put it on the table, we're going to help you decide which one is the best one. The challenge that you run into is usually have a facilitator at a mastermind and not a coach,
Mhm, mhm.
right? The
That's true.
facilitator change from month to month. And because the facilitator changes, I'm going from quarter to quarter. And because the facilitator changes from quarter to quarter, you really don't have anyone keeping you accountable to the goal that you set in the first place. I've been in them where I had one person that was in it and he had the same exact goal for 2 years and had never done anything on it. And for me, that was extremely frustrating because I'm very much an action oriented person. Not necessarily someone I want to be in the room with either. I don't want to be in the room with someone who's not forward moving. So I decided to change the game a little bit for people who are more like me. We want to be in the room. We want to put up a goal. We want to have specific steps to that goal. We want to be held accountable to that goal. And we want to be able to 10x. And by the way, people always like, you could 10x your year. Okay, that's stupid. To go from $1 million to $10 million in 1 year is probably going to be an infrastructure nightmare. So you really have to be smart about this. Usually, what we're talking about when we talk about 10xing, we're talking about 10xing your last quarter of the year, because
Okay.
that's really what you want to be able to do. 10x the last quarter of your year. And so, but who cares? Because that means that, so if we 10x the last quarter of 2023, that means 2024 is a 10x year. It's just how it works, right?
Hey,
Which
okay, now, yes, it's coming.
suck. Yeah, it doesn't really suck, and it probably meant that I 50 did double, if not. If it means that if I was at 1.7, that I probably ended off the year at over 3.4. So my point is that yes, you can actually do it. You just have to do it smart. Anyway, we wanted to do something different. So our masterminds actually run more like a multi-million dollar business challenge.
I love.
And so we have people do a pitch, like you literally pitch your business as if you're pitching to VCs, because we want to know that you're worth our time. That's number one. Then number two, once you pitch your business, we really do sit down and go, what does it take to 10x your business? And we go through your expertise, your ideal client, your dream clients, your offers, what and how you're pricing those offers, what the profit margins look like them, what your marketing messages should be and how you hit those marketing messages. Then from marketing messages, we go all the way over to how are you going to engage with those people? How are you going to do sales? And then what does your delivery look like? What do you need to help support getting to 10x by the end of the year? From there, we then go, so now let's look at this on a quarter over quarter basis and come up with what your plan is for the first quarter. Now let's come up with what your plan is for the first month, the second month, and the third month, because we're going to see you in 3 months. So
Mhm.
you got to face us in 3 months. And then on top of that, we make sure that you have guidance and accountability. So you get guidance twice a month and accountability once a month to ensure that you're reaching your goals. So by the time you show up to the next quarter, you've actually been guided, coached, helped 9 times minimum
Wow.
just to hit that, not counting all the master classes and everything else that we do. So we're doing everything we can to challenge people to actually 10x their last quarter.
That's
And
so
we're doing
powerful.
everything in place to do that.
That's so powerful. And what I'm hearing that's different in that is that a lot of times again in masterminds, it's a you leave out the room and you are on your own, right? There
Oh
is
my God. And
yeah.
inundated with ideas and you don't even know where to start.
Yes, yes.
There's no real business coaches in the room. We're the opposite. Not only are we helping you, we're doing our own 10x, by the way. I just want to make sure everybody know as coaches in the room, we're also eating our own dog food and holding each other accountable and going and recognizing, yeah, when we say yes, we know this is hard. because we're doing it too, right?
That's right.
Like,
That's right. That's right.
like we're not going, oh no, it's a cakewalk. No, we're like, yeah, we know we got to load up the beginning of the year heavy so we can get to the end of the year the way we want it to be. We recognize that there's going to be a lot of tests of trying stuff and stuff that worked and stuff that didn't work. And so our masterminds are different because they do run more like challenges. There is a significant number of accountability. We keep them very small and exclusive. We only have people in the room that could actually afford to be in the room. So you know that you're playing with power players, right? We, for me, for someone who's run a $250 million business, who've coached multi-million dollar 25, 30, 50, $100 million businesses on increasing their revenues. For me, I am the coach that's there to help people with their business structure. Then we have Chanel Evans, who's in the room, that literally shows you, let me show you how to turn your social media marketing and your marketing general into an ATM machine, how you can build your brand, how you can connect with your buyers, how you can get more of those messages out there. So those are the things that are critical. It's not just we're going to get together and sit around and come up with some ideas and have great drinks. And then, I mean, don't get me wrong, we do have great drinks and axes and stripper poles are involved. But besides that, there's a significant amount of work that happens because we work hard, but we play harder. So
absolutely. And that is indeed the game changer. So that was my final question. Again, we have a mastermind coming up this month in January. And so for those of you all who are like, okay, I know I have a goal of taking this business beyond $1 million, but where do I take that first step? It's a big jump, right? Even if you had a phenomenal year last year, if you're looking at your business and you're like, okay, you're right. There are things that I thought I would just apply from the last year and just copy paste onto this year. That's not going to scale or grow your business. You're going to have a very much personalized plan based off of where you are. And you guys are able to do that in that mastermind.
And I think one of the big questions that anyone should ask them if they're like, should I be in a mastermind is this. If you did not make a sale right now for the next 6 months, you did not make a sale. Do you have enough MRR, monthly recurring revenue, to help for your business to thrive, not just survive, but to thrive in those 6 months? If the answer is no, you need a mastermind. You need a coach. Seriously. Because if you're not there, if you're literally going, no, if I don't get this sale, if I don't get this client, if any of this falls apart, I'm screwed. You don't have a business yet. You really need to get to the point where you're not gig chasing, but that you're actually, because a lot of people are gig chasing or client chasing and they can't forecast out 6 months. They absolutely cannot. You need to be able to forecast out 6 months, even if you did not make a sale starting right now, January, what is this, 2nd? If you did not make a sale right now until June 2nd, would your business die? And if the answer is yes, you definitely need a mastermind to help you. A mastermind like ours, not one where you're just sitting around sharing ideas.
Yeah, it's not a 3-day brunch, basically.
It's not a 3-day brunch, with mimosas. That's not what it is.
Yeah, it's extremely beneficial. So I'm looking forward to. I know we're going to plan when I can share more about my experience with Mastermind. But for now, like Michael said, are you willing to do the work? This is time to double in and say, hey, I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to do what it takes.
And take the risk. That's the thing. Everybody's looking for, like, how do I do this but play it safe? The answer to that question is you don't. You don't do this and play it safe. You actually do need to take a risk. People who are afraid to take a risk should not be an entrepreneur. And people who can't make a $5,000, let's say $5,000 investment, and I'm even going high because it doesn't cost that. But people who are afraid to spend $5,000 on their business to grow their business, go ahead and shut your doors now, or stop calling it a business. Like, let's call it what it is. Because if you can't take a risk, if you can't prioritize your business, if you're prioritizing everyone else's work before your own, or everything else before your own business, this is not okay. What you're doing is a side hustle that you're just doing full time. You're doing a full-time side hustle.
There's something that they exist.
They exist. That's what it is. It's a full-time side hustle. I know a lot of people with full-time side hustles, but that's all it is. But I talk to people all the time. They're like, I can't make the investment. if you can't make a $5,000 investment in your business, you got a full-time side hustle and you're spending way too much money on your own personal stuff, and your taxes must look a wreck. Like, I'm just saying, your accountant hates you.
Facts. Do something, you know.
Right? Spending way too much money at Sephora and Starbucks. That's all I'm saying. And Amazon. Let's see. Bianca has a question, I think. The amount. I can't read my glasses.
Okay. She's a comment. The amount of lawyers that want to fight me over the 2 to 3% payment processing fees, or paying $150 a year for Zoom. So again, you know, just making sure we
let me tell you something. Somebody asked us the other day. So I'm gonna end with this because this was just one of my pet peeves. Somebody said the other day, do you pass on your 2% processing fees to your clients? No. It is the cost of doing damn business.
Yes, right.
Raise your rates by 2% if it bothers you, 3% if it bothers you that much. But seriously, you hitting your people up like, if I got to take your credit card, then it's going to cost 3%. For real? Seriously? It's a cost.
It makes them want to do business with you. It's like, oh my goodness, you're
They must have forgot back in the day before Square and all that came out, and PayPal, where you could actually take payments, how you had to jump through hoops to get a merchant to actually allow you to take a credit card. Today, you just go and sign up for Stripe. 5 minutes later, you're taking American Express, Visa, American Express. Oh my God, American Express, Visa, Discover, MasterCard,
super hard to
Diners Club. Like, you taking it all, and now you're gonna be like, I'm gonna charge you 3%. I'm not charging you shit to get my money faster.
Hello.
Let's just call it. Like, I'm not charging you 2 cents to get my money faster. Are you out of your mind? You pay me now, it's in my Stripe account in the next 10 minutes. I mean, in my bank account in 10 minutes. I mean, people, that is absolutely ridiculous. Stop charging your clients for the cost of doing business. It's called an expense. You put it in the expense column. You charge it in your taxes at the end of the year. That's how that goes. That's business. It's the difference between gig chasing and client chasing versus running a business. And people running a business, I'm gonna charge you. You go to Neiman Marcus or Walmart and they charge you an extra 3% because they had to take your credit card. Y'all, this is not mom and pop education. We need to stop the madness. It makes no sense.
This was amazing. We are going to be back, y'all, on Wednesday. So just keep an eye out. If you have questions, you're watching the replay, #replay, let us know. You stop by. We want your questions. We want to know, what are you thinking? What's on your agenda for the year, and what's holding you back from your own 7-figure year? Let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, hon. Thank you so much, everyone. Talk to y'all later. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to see if I can do some sexy stuff. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, I can't. I'm just